So now we have implemented the weather fetch async task. On pre-execute, we would like to show a intermediate dialog that appears to the user so that the user knows that something is happening in the background, and we show a message called fetching or retrieving data. In on post execute, we hide this dialog box because the async task is over. In do it background, we do the web service call, which is a long running task. As you can see, this is the weather API. We just open the HTTP URL connection to this particular API, get the data and show it to the user. Finally, the output is returned in temperature integer. This output should be shown in our text box. So let's go ahead and bind the text box now. So text view, after binding the text view, we need to trigger the async task. So in order to trigger the async task, we'll just make a call to weather async task dot execute. In our application, we don't have to pass any parameters, hence we are giving null. So this is the final program. You have main activity, which has temperature text, and a trigger async task button. The trigger async task, whenever it's clicked, it starts the weather fetch async task. Weather fetch async task extends the async task class and provides appropriate methods. On pre-execute is called in the UI thread, which shows a progress dialog. On do in background is called next, which runs in a new thread. And finally, on post execute is called, which shows the current temperature. Before going ahead and run the app, since our app is making a web service call, let's go ahead and indicate to the Android system that our app can make internet and API calls. For that, let's use internet permission. Note that without declaring this permission, your app will fail and it will never run any background or web service calls. So the app is built and it's running on our phone right now. So I'll capture the screenshot. As you can see right now, there's no temperature. When I trigger async task, a dialog box appears which says fetching and retrieving data. So this visual representation of progress dialogs shows the user that something is happening in the background, and the user should probably wait. Once the async task is over, the current temperature is fetched. So now you can see temperature colon 25. So probably 25 degrees Celsius is the temperature outside wherever we are right now. Finally, in this video, we saw how to make use of async task, how to make use of networking libraries in Android and make web service calls, and finally how to update UI after the async task is over. Async task is again very important when it comes to do some long running task in the background. It need not be used only for making web service calls in the background. For example, if you want to load large data from the database, async task is a good API to use, which will load the data from the database in the background, and once the data is loaded, you can show it in a list or grid or any other form using async task in the on post execute method. I hope this exercise was useful and you make better use of async tasks. Thank you.